Coach Prime and company have risen to the top of the team rankings for transfer portal recruits. They did not reach the number 1 spot by resting on their behinds. Today we will look at some eligible players in the transfer portal that could be immediate impact players for Colorado. While Coach Prime is getting a head start on the 2024 recruiting class, he knows spring is approaching, and with it comes a host of eligible talent by way of the transfer portal. Come May 1st, the transfer portal reopens for 15 days. At this time, there will be another opportunity for eligible players to transfer to a new school. I say eligible because there are rules to the transfer portal and regulations for transferring. I will go over those rules a little later as well as the exceptions. But first, let's look at some of the top uncommitted eligible offensive linemen currently in the transfer portal. Eligible players in the transfer portal can transfer at any time. But being that there are moves to made during the spring and few scholarships, we will likely see a spring push. Colorado has a ton of skill players and their defensive line has shaped up also. They could use some more Slobberknockers up front on the offense. These players being discussed are transferring from good programs. They are 4 and 3 stars. But more than that, they have all been good at their position. They can all play. That is what is most important to Coach Prime. He is not as concerned about stars as long as they can play and have what the coaches are looking for. Marcus Alexander. Marcus Big Tank Alexander, a transfer from Oklahoma, is currently in the portal. He is an offensive guard. The 6'4", 325-pound Alexander is a 247 Sports 3-star recruit from Sunnyvale, Texas, and Rivals rated him as a 4-star recruit. He didn't see much playing time behind some of the starters in Oklahoma, so he is looking for a chance to go elsewhere to prove a point. Like many players who will be coming in the portal during this upcoming spring, he has something to prove. Alexander leaves as a graduate and still has 2 years eligibility remaining. Alexander has talent and can be a plug-and-play starting offensive lineman on someone's team. ESPN ranked him as the number 37 offensive guard in the country coming out of high school. He chose Oklahoma over Missouri, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and others. Alexander was named District 5 4A Offensive Lineman of the Year, also a standout in track and field. One analyst said this about Big Tank: he has a solid build with a well-proportioned lower body. Big Tank has big arms, projects as a guard at the next level, best as a drive blocker with strong hands and the ability to finish once engaged. Uses his strong upper body to put defenders on their back. Bends well at the hips and plays with good leverage. Has a nasty disposition as a player. Dominant while facing inferior competition at the high school level. He moves well. Projects as a likely Power 5 starter with the ability to develop into a mid to late round NFL draft. Bray Walker. Bray Walker is another Oklahoma offensive lineman who is currently in the portal. The 6'7", 355-pound offensive guard announced via social media that he'll enter the transfer portal and seek to play his final year of college football elsewhere. Walker signed with the Sooners in the class of 2018 as the program's highest-ranked commit of the cycle. Bray Walker was the highest-rated recruit in the state of Oklahoma and the number 2 offensive tackle in the nation, according to 247 Sports. The former 5-star prospect had a hard time finding consistent playing time with the Sooners. One of the reasons it was hard for Walker to get a shot was the offensive line at Oklahoma was just that good. All 5 starters from Bill Bedenbaugh's 2018 Joe Moore Award-winning front and Walker's freshman season are now in the NFL. 2 of last year's starting 5 are collecting NFL paychecks, and they had returning players, which made it a tough position to get playing time. But the coaches did like what they saw from Walker, and he was earning his shot. However, like many others, Walker's time is running short to make a case for the pros. He needs a place where he can raise his stock for the NFL in his last final season. Could Colorado be that place? One analyst had this to say about Walker. Walker has the gift and curse of versatility. He will ideally slot in at guard, but he can also slide out and play tackle. Focusing on just one or the other might help his development, but his willingness to help the team and play where he's needed has been an asset to the group and to him individually, and it may yet pay big dividends. Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons is another offensive lineman currently in the transfer portal. Simmons, a 6'6", 305-pound sophomore from Helix High School, started all 13 games in 2022 as a redshirt freshman. He played 799 snaps, second only to left tackle Brandon Crenshaw Dixon among the team's returning offensive linemen. He is transferring from San Diego State. Simmons is regarded as a pro prospect with tremendous upside, though he also was the most penalized player on the line last season. He initially chose San Diego State over offers from 21 Power 5 schools. Josh was a 4-star recruit with a composite 89 rating. Josh held offers from Oregon, Arizona, Arizona State, and Arkansas. Josh is so dominant he can play both sides of the line if he ever wanted to. Josh Simmons has the ability to be an instant impact player at Colorado. He is a mammoth of a man that plays with that nastiness that would serve Shedeur well. One analyst had this to say about Josh. He is a massive two-way lineman who could end up as a nose guard or offensive guard in college. Shows quickness of the ball, strength at the point of attack, and the ability to cave in the interior of an offensive line by himself. As a guard, can overwhelm an opposing defensive lineman with his size and strength. Is a road grader as a run blocker and shows the feet to project as an excellent pass blocker as well. He has all the raw tools to be an impact upper-tier Power 5 starter and future mid-round NFL draft pick. So how does the transfer portal work? This past season, the NCAA announced new rules in regards to one-time transfers, coaches' firings, and timings of transfers. On August 31st, the NCAA introduced 2 windows for players to enter the portal and prevent random transfers. Players can only enter the portal between May 1st through May 15th. Those who don't cannot enter their names again until the December 5th window, which ends on January 18th. Once a player's name is in the portal, they are free to transfer at any time. The only exception to the rule is if a head coach is fired. Then, the player has 30 days to enter their name in the portal. The NCAA announced another rule, which stated that undergraduate players who enter their name into the portal a second time must meet specific criteria to gain immediate eligibility. Otherwise, they will have to sit a season. The only exceptions to this rule are if a player transfers due to a mental or physical health issue. Additionally, the NCAA will consider exigent circumstances that caused an athlete to transfer. So in a nutshell, the transfer portal window was open for a total of 60 days during the 2022 to 2023 academic year. It opens in 2 parts, a 45-day window and then a 15-day window. The initial 45-day window opened on December 5th and then closed on January 19, 2023. The portal will reopen from May 1st to May 15th after the conclusion of the spring workout calendar. What does all this mean for Colorado? At the very least, there are currently offensive linemen like the 3 discussed here still available. There are more in the portal as well as we speak. Some have enrolled recently at new programs and it has not been updated yet. But teams are picking up these transfers and beefing up their fronts. The real commotion will start on and around May 1st when the portal reopens. But I wanted folks to know that when Coach Prime says they are not finished, he could very well still shock people with a late pickup. If you listen to Coach Prime, you know his eye is on that portal. They are the #1 team in college football at recruiting by way of the transfer portal according to rankings on 247 Sports. So when he says they are waiting for spring and looking for walk-ons, it is apparent they are looking for more impact players.
We're not done. This is just a pause. This is just a comma. Because there's a lot of people that's going to bungee jump in that portal after spring because they're going to be disappointed in the playing time and the commitment or the level of participation that they're garnishing. And we're going to take full advantage of that. So we're not done.